Well, welcome everyone again to some more Vampire Survivors. This game is so bloody good. If this is the first time you're seeing it, I say welcome back because I've already done a first impressions on it, and I talked a little bit about what the game is all about, what it's like, etc., etc. So now I won't be doing that. I'll just play for the enjoyment of everyone involved, mostly myself, to be brutally honest with you. Whoops. Okay, took my off the screen to look at something over here. That's fine though. I've had like a 30-minute run today in this very library with... was it this character or was it the one that starts with the wand? I think it was the other one. It's almost the one that starts with the magic wand. But either way, looks like we're getting a similar combination to what I had last time. It was really, really fun. I think... now, I'm not sure if there is still a way to quote-unquote beat a level or a game. I know there are bosses. I've seen that from the achievements, and apparently I've killed one. Just didn't realize it was a boss. I thought it was just like a champion or something. Which is nice, I suppose. And I think I came near to killing the one here, which would unlock the third stage, one would assume. But that's all fine and dandy. Duplicator is bloody amazing. I've also learned the importance of picking up the right items and not picking up the wrong items for a particular build you're going for. Also learned that once you've upgraded a weapon to its maximum level, you will no longer get options to upgrade that weapon, and that's very, very relevant. Because... you could put yourself in a situation where you only have two choices left to get out of a level up, and that's actually a good thing because that means you've specialized, and yeah, you know, it's everything fires one more projectile. I don't see how that's better. How that's not better than upgrading the whatchamacallit, the magic wand. I guess because the magic wand can later be further upgraded. This is a bit much. That's a fourth weapon. I don't want a fourth weapon, but I don't have a choice. I guess the King Bible? Oh wow, that is... that was nasty. Mind you, with 2 levels of Duplicator, King's Bible is now pretty darn neat. Base damage up by 5. I don't need base damage yet. Empty Tone is really good. Oh, I want the Empty Tone. It also upgrades with... it can also upgrade the Magic Wand, and I think that was my highest damage dealing item in the previous run. If I can repeat that run today, now for you, I'd be really, really happy. So, I kind of wanted to talk about something near and dear to my heart in this video, along with providing you with pick up items from further away is kind of nice, though it's not mandatory. I think Clover is a little bit better. Alright, so I kind of wanted to talk about something near and dear to my heart, in addition to providing you with some really, really good gameplay of... Well, I maintain that watching this game isn't that exciting, and it isn't that great, and you'd probably be doing some... you'd probably much rather play it. But there is a certain charm to watching it too. Either way, to sort of enhance the experience of watching the video, I want to talk about something quite near and dear to my heart, and that is my, what is it now, 6 or 7 month long struggle to try and get a gun license in what is the hellhole of gun ownership. That is my country, and you know, when you try your absolute darndest to achieve something for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, whatever it is, And then at the end of it all, after all of that time, because, you were initially expecting to succeed, or at least, get somewhere with it, and after all that time, you just basically told that you were wasting your time and that there's no way you're getting anything. That can have an effect on you emotionally and psychologically, and it certainly has had an effect on me, don't get me wrong. I've hated my life for the last week, in the sense of where I live and the way the laws are constructed here and all of that stuff. So yeah, I'll explain a little bit more about it basically in the video. It's not all depressing, trust me. So I made a couple of shorts about this. I've talked about it here and there, but in case you didn't know, all gun laws are ridiculously absurd. At this point, after, negotiating them and becoming a gun law expert effectively, which is what you have to become if you want a license, if you want a chance at having a license, which you do need in order to purchase any type of firearm. Any type of firearm that fires a single projectile, as in basically not black powder weapons. Black powder weapons you don't need a license for. You just need to be 16 years of age or older, show your ID, and you can buy them, and you do need to register them with the local police office. But that just means you have to pay like a tax of, I think, around $10 each year. And they just put you in on like a register of some sort, and they know you have a gun, and that's basically it. There's nothing. It's very hassle-free, right? You just go there once, and you pay a tax every year. Yeah, the tax is stupid. Don't get me wrong. You gain nothing out of it. Like, the idea of paying taxes is that you get it back somehow, right? That something happens with that money that ultimately either you or the community as a whole, and you as a part of that community, benefits from, right? So you pay taxes for healthcare, for infrastructure, for education, etc., etc. Here, there's nothing. Like, the money just goes into the government's pocket, and you don't get any benefits. Matter of fact, quite the opposite, right? It's used to oppress you further. I mean, it's not even used to promote gun safety or to stop crime or whatever. It's $10 a month. It's not used for anything. A year. Either way, that's about black powder weapons. But if you want to buy an actual, somewhat modern firearm, whatever it's chambered in, 9mm 45 ACP 22 long rifle, which is not the case in I'm pretty sure 99% of other European laws. Like, they differentiate between 22 long rifle and bigger calibers. Our law doesn't. It's all the same. You need the same license, and you need the same paperwork. And I got pretty much all of the paperwork, right? And it's not easy to get. Like, you need formal training, a license, you need to pass a test, you need to do a medical checkup, you need to fire 50 rounds, I think, as a part of that course that you get training in on the spot, and then you need to... that whole process was really easy and kind of fun. I mean, you learn about all sorts of weapons, explosives, all sorts of things, even though you're just applying for a bloody pistol. I need to know, like... I think they taught us most about carbines and shotguns. I don't care about shotguns, like, not really. The license for one is significantly more complicated to get one. You need to become a hunter. You need a hunting license in order to get it. There is no other way to get a rifle of any sorts, really. To get any type of rifle, you need a hunting license, even if you don't intend to hunt. And in fact, a lot of people have hunting licenses, but don't hunt. They don't want to hunt, they have no interest in hunting, they just want to, they want to put holes in paper, as I say jokingly. And yet they have to get it for the law. It's, you need a valid reason. And that's the whole problem, really, with it. Everything else in the law I can get around. I can, I'm persistent enough and I'm passionate enough about firearms in general, which I think is pretty bloody clear from my videos, I will suffer through all of it, right? I will suffer through all of it. Also, if your neighbors complain that not complain, but if your neighbors object to you having a firearm, you won't be given a license. Your neighbor can just say, I don't want him having a gun, and you won't get one. Ever. That's it. You're now on the list. You are never getting a firearm in your life. Even with that, I'll talk to my neighbors first. I'll bribe them. I'm joking, but not really. Let's just say I'm only partially joking, right? I'll fight through all of that. Fine. The final, basically one step away from getting it when I've collected all of that after months and months, which, okay, honestly, it didn't have to take that long. It doesn't really take that long. But it's kind of expensive, right? The gun's expensive, where you're going to get it, what you're going to buy, all the, learning actually what the paperwork that you need is and how you get it, and etc., etc. It's very vague. It's not very well defined in the law as well. I have the entire gun law of my country on my computer in PDF. It's about 50 pages long. It's not that much. It's horribly vague, and yeah. It bans certain things, and then it doesn't. At one point it says hollow point ammunition is banned, and it clearly isn't. It's what you use for... Well, sorry? Oh, Jesus Christ! That was a YouTube video that I watched in the background. Oh god, it's just played on its own. I had no idea why. Sorry about that. Let's go with that. I think. Yeah. Wow. All right. I'm horribly sorry about that. That got me all sorts of distracted. So, anyways, like I was saying. It's horribly vague. At one point it mentions banning hollow point rounds, and then it doesn't define what hollow point rounds are, and then treats them as regular rounds. And at that point, you go back and you go like, okay, so what's banned under this? And it turns out what they're referring to is like, quote-unquote, military ammunition with a hard core. This is literally word for word what it says. What do you mean a hard core? Like, FMJ has a hard core of lead. It's not squishy. I mean, okay, it's generally considered soft. I know what you mean, but the way it's worded is idiotic. That's the whole problem. And even with all of that, even when you get past all of that, the final stepping stone that you need to get over is you need a valid reason for acquiring a firearm. Now, you might think that's sensible, and to some extent, I do as well. So, why do you want a gun, right? Somehow you should define this. Okay, do you want it for self-defense? Well, good luck, because a gun for self-defense has not been sold in this country for probably about a decade. You need to prove that your life is in danger. How do you prove that is absolutely beyond me and 3 different lawyers I've talked to. Yes, I actually paid lawyers and talked to them about it. It is beyond them. It's impossible. Because it's contradictory, right? If your life is endangered, that means that you've either been attacked or someone has been threatening you, like sending emails, messages, SMS messages, whatever, coming to your house, threatening you, any of those things. If that hasn't happened to you, you can't get a gun for self-defense. At the same time, if you do have a gun and that happens to you, the police come and take your gun away. Excuse me? So, when I need my gun to protect my life, if it is endangered and someone is threatening me or my family, they come and take it away. Yes, it's called preventative disarmament, basically, is what it translates to. They take your gun away so that you can't use it because life is holy and you're not allowed to defend yourself. They take it away just in case you might misuse it. That's kind of the logic of it, or the quote-unquote logic of it. So, I need a gun for self-defense. I need to prove that my life is endangered, but if I prove my life is endangered, you come and take away my gun. So, is there any scenario in which I get to keep my gun for self-defense? Well, yes, that is if you bought it like 15 years ago when this law wasn't in place, then you get to keep it. If you bought it under the sort of clauses and rationales of the previous law that was in place, you get to keep your guns. Most of the time. They're trying to disarm this populace in general. I mean that's pretty blatant, even though the government is claiming otherwise. It's pretty blatant. They're asking you to re-register your firearms, and then you run into this exact same problem that I mentioned, right? Anyways, it's a whole legal issue that's been going on for about 3 years here. But, like, that aside, okay, so you can't get a gun for self-defense. Can you get it for any other reason? Can you just say, I want a gun because I love firearms, right? I want to collect firearms, I don't want to use it in any real-world dangerous situation like self-defense. I just want to have a gun and, go down to the range and shoot it, or, just have a gun at home and never use it. Am I allowed to do that? No. Liking guns is not a valid reason to own a gun, according to the law. There are only 3 valid reasons for acquiring a firearm. Only 3. No other reasons. 1, you are competing in a sharpshooting competition. 2, you're a hunter. And 3, like we mentioned, your life is endangered, but that one doesn't really exist because, well, good luck getting it. There's just no way. Also, there is something called the discretional right of the police officer, which basically means that any police officer anywhere in the country that you talk to about acquiring a firearm and that is supposed to issue you your license can say no without any reason whatsoever. So he can just say that, today or in the next 15 years, you are not going to get a firearm because I say so. He does not need to provide justification. He does not need to... Yeah, he just can tell you no and tell you to fuck off. There's nobody above him. That's it. That's the end of the line for you. You're not getting a gun. To be fair, I don't know of any instances where that was the case. But they do have the right. The fact that, as far as I'm aware, there could be an instance that I'm not aware of, but as far as I'm aware, none of them have chosen to exercise that right is, admirable. But the fact that they have that right is extremely problematic to begin with. Either way, let's keep going. Let's keep going because that's not it. Now, I've mentioned the sports shooting thing. Well, that was, to me, the next logical step, right? Can't prove the thing, don't have a hunting license, and, by the way, you can only buy certain types of firearms for hunting, or rather with a hunting license, and that's firearms used in hunting. So, semi-automatic rifles, carbines, shotguns, you choose. But you need to pass a hunting exam. You need to pass like a history exam about hunting. There's some 250 questions that you need to answer in the space of around 2 hours or so, I think, about hunting, and it's a whole hassle, and it's for a weapon I don't want. I wanted a pistol, and there's a very simple reason for it. I don't have anywhere. I can't use a rifle anywhere. I mean, I can keep it at home, or I can go hunting with it. I'm not opposed to hunting. It's maybe I would find it fun every now and again. I would go. I genuinely would. But it's not something that I'm all that interested in. I'm kind of a lot more interested in just target shooting in a range. However, there are no ranges where you can use rifles, or there are at least very few. They are very few and far in between. Again, that's for legal reasons. Plus, if I am getting a carbine with a scope on it, what's the point of shooting it like at 10 to 20 meters at a range? Surely you want to stretch that out a little bit, right? You want to, like, 50, 100, 200 or more. There's no ranges like that around me. Like, I'll need to travel for hours upon hours to the shooting range to fire and then come back, and transporting a weapon like that is also legal hell. It's not that difficult, it's doable, but it's no. I wanted a pistol. Far more convenient. You can shoot it pretty much in any city. Every city has a gun range of some sorts. All sorts of ammunition available for pistols, all sorts of pistols available in this country, which was kind of confusing me at first because I thought, if there's sales for firearms, I mean, for Christ's sake, there was a Christmas sale on firearms, which is the most American thing I've seen in my country, and I absolutely loved it. I was like, that's great. Okay, we're getting somewhere with this. Yeah, we're not getting anywhere, mate. They're desperate to sell firearms because they're desperate to find people that can purchase one, and that it's we're a rare. Those rather are a rare breed indeed. Yeah, that's so. Let me get to the final attempt of mine at acquiring a firearm, and that's the sports shooting thing. So I'm like, what does that exactly mean? Does that mean I need to become a member of like a sharpshooting association? Because if that's all I need to do, that means that I need to pay like a monthly membership fee or a yearly membership fee, which those aren't really high. I think they're like I think the highest one I found was like 50, 60, well, even less than that, like around $40-something annually to be a member of that organization. And I'm like, if that's all I need to do, that's not that bad. Like, I mean, sure, it's terrible compared to most normal countries, but at least it's doable, right? So all I need to do is I need to pay the government money. And I'll have my valid reason, right? I'm a member of the shooting association or organization, whatever, sharpshooting. I don't necessarily want to compete in tournaments and go all over Europe or all over even my own country to compete in tournaments. I'm really not interested in that. I just want to practice on my own. And I mean, it's kind of dumb as well. Like, how would I know if I'm interested in competitions if I can't have a gun and actually try it and shoot it? I mean, let me like fire at least a couple of hundred rounds on my own, and then I'll decide, you know what, yeah, this is fun. I want to compete against others, but the way it is like I need to decide whether I want to compete or not before I actually even try the sport. I'll give you an analogy. It's like you need to decide whether you're going to become a professional tennis player or not, but you've never stepped on a tennis court, you've never held a racket in your hands, and you need to decide before you buy an actual tennis racket or before you even attend tennis class. It's kind of dumb, but hell, fuck it. Even with that, fine, I'll do it. I'll get the membership. And I almost did. I almost paid for it, but I was like, I might as well go check with whoever I need to go to. And I check with the person that is responsible for actually signing my bloody gun license and giving it to me. And he says, yeah, this is all good. You have all the proper paperwork, but you're never going to own a firearm in this country. Now, this is the person that is supposed to give me the firearm. It's literally his job. Well, not give me the firearm, give me the license. It's literally his job to approve or decline requests. Except it isn't. His job is to decline requests. He doesn't approve them. So I'm like, okay, could I just know why before you send me on my way? And it's like, yeah, we don't really give out licenses in this country anymore. This isn't a valid reason. I don't deem it to be a valid reason. I need you to prove that you are actually going to be a member of this organization and that you are going to compete by going to every, or at least most, shooting competitions in our country for 3 years, participating, and then bringing me the results of those competitions. And after 3 years, I'll think about whether you can have, or rather the system will think about whether you can have a firearm, but you'll most likely be declined then as well, but you can try. This is word for word what I was told. I don't know, you tell me. You tell me, like, in retrospect, I regret not asking him one more question. And that's, okay, I'll do that. You know what, I'm very passionate about firearms, like I mentioned. Very, very passionate. I'm willing to do all of this to get a license. I think that speaks volumes. Okay, I'm like, fine, let's do it. Let's compete for a couple of years just to get a gun. What do I compete with? Because in order to compete in pistol shooting, accurate pistol sharpshooting, you kind of need a bloody fucking pistol to compete with. You catch my drift? How do I compete in a sport I do not have the requisite equipment for? By analogy, imagine you're trying to buy a tennis racket, but in order to buy one, or you're trying to play baseball or basketball or whatever, in order to play basketball, you need to buy a basketball ball, provided that, you know, there are courts you can play at or whatever. But in order to buy one, you need to be a professional NBA basketball player for 3 years. Maybe basketball isn't the best analogy because, you know, you get provided the balls when you go there. I think tennis is really the best analogy here. You need to buy a tennis racket. But in order to buy one, you need to be a professional tennis player for 3 years. How do I play tennis without a tennis racket? I think it would have been a lot easier on me physically and mentally if the law just said, firearms in our country are banned unless you have a hunting license. If you have a hunting license, you can buy carbines, sniper rifles, you know, that sort of thing, and shotguns. Period. The way that the whole procedure, I mean, the fact that the entire procedure exists behind you applying for the license, getting training, getting the medical checkup, criminal records, background check, all of those things. Then, I didn't tell you about this, but also a police officer has to come into your home. You have to show him where you're going to keep the weapon. You have to show him where you're going to keep the weapon has to be locked away in a safe. You have to show him where you're going to keep the keys to the safe for, etc., etc. All of these, like, these are just ludicrous things. And I mean, fuck it. Even with all of that, fine, I'll do it. I'm dumb enough, you know. I'm dumb enough to accept all of this. Let's do it. And then, after all of that, you just get told, it's not really though. You know, it's good. You did all that, but like, no. So I like to. I mean, there's obviously countries with very liberal gun laws. The Czech Republic, the United States, obviously, but like in Europe, the Czech Republic. I really want to move there now just because of their sensible gun laws. You want a gun? Okay. Are you a criminal? No. Do you have a criminal record? No. Are you a law-abiding citizen? Yes. Here you go. Have fun. Bye. I mean, it more or less comes down to that. But even with even countries that have strict gun laws, and I mean like really, really strict gun laws, hell, the fucking UK. In the UK, you can buy a pistol chambered in .22 LR, if it fits like some weird government criteria about the barrel length and about stuff like that, and it's kind of silly, but you can get one. You can get one. You can't do that in my country, as I've learned. Even though the law says you can't. Not really. So this genuinely wants. I mean, I be completely honest with you. I came home after that delightful encounter, and I swore my lungs out at pretty much everything that has happened to the Balkans in general since 1914. Which is when I firmly believe we have lost our independence and liberty. Or more specifically 1918, right, after the Great War, because this is when all of this shit started. I'll be completely honest with you, this is when all of this shit started. The surrounding ex-Yugoslavian countries aren't much better off, but they're kind of a little bit better off. It depends on which one. You still need all the aforementioned paperwork, but the valid reasons are interpreted a little bit differently. So, you know, there's better and... Well, there isn't really worse, I don't think. I don't think there's worse, but there is... Some are a little bit better than others. Okay. Fine. All of this has really genuinely made me want to leave and never come back here and hope that the entire region burns in an inferno, because Yeah, I mean that's. I'm kidding, obviously, and I think this can be interpreted, especially by the YouTube algorithm, in all sorts of different ways. I do not wish harm upon anyone. What I mean is in a sort of political sense that it's not even about liberty. It's not even about the what the Americans will call the God-given rights. You know, it's not even about that. I mean, it is, but it's not even about that. The fact that you can't properly formulate a law, that's what pisses me off the most. Like, if it's banned, just tell me it's banned. All right, fuck off. You're not getting one. I can live with that, right? I'll move, or I'll accept it, or I'll move on. The fact that you are led around on a goose chase for like months just to be told you're never going to get a firearm in this country is absurd. It's ridiculous. It's disrespectful to the law-abiding citizens that pay taxes, right? And honestly, it made me question, like, so why are pistols even being sold at this point in this country? Because you can buy them. I mean, every gun shop, well, not every gun shop, but most gun shops have hunting equipment, like rifles, backpacks, everything you need for hunting, optics, etc., weapon parts, so on and so forth. And they do sell pistols as well. I mean, there's not a huge variety, but there are like several different manufacturers, many different models, etc. We have our own local producer, the CZ. That's the literally translated as the red flag, like Zastava. Like they produce pistols for the civilian market, quote unquote, as well. So I'm like, why are they being sold? Well, turns out there is a dozen or so people, maybe 100 or so, that do have a sharpshooting license, and they've acquired it when it wasn't as absurd. And what I mean by that is they had this sharpshooting license, they have a firearm, and then if they want to buy another one, they now have a valid reason because they are a member of a sharpshooting association, team, whatever, and they have been a member for a lengthy period of time, and they've shot in multiple competitions, so they can, now they can actually prove that they need a firearm, quote unquote, as stupid and ridiculous as that sounds. Yeah, it's not great. It really isn't. There's also been drama around that as well. Like, if you think that's where it ends, I wish. Even the people that actually went through the trouble of somehow competing for 3 years without owning a firearm, usually it's people that had a firearm before that, like they bought a firearm under the previous law, and then used that to compete for 3 years, and then wanted to buy a better one or a newer one or whatever. Even for them, there's a problem with acquiring the license because some tournaments are not accepted, which I think is absurd. There was one tournament in Belgrade held for charity, and I know for a fact that tournament wasn't accepted as, in the whole valid reason thing. You need a certain number of tournaments, you need 3 years of competing for 3 years, and then, oh, you participated in this one? Yeah, sorry, we don't accept that one as valid. You need to compete in another one, or like another 2 or 3. I mean, absurd. If you've been a member of an organization like that for 3 years, and for 3 years you've had no issues with the law, like no charges or anything, what the hell's the point of I mean, what the hell's the point of even asking for the tournament thing, right? If you've been a member, then like whether I've competed or not is kind of my own bloody business. Mind your own. But even like aside from that, it doesn't like this just show of dedication count for something? Because I would assume that I assumed that it did, but clearly I was wrong, and it doesn't. I don't know what to say. It's just ridiculous and it's absurd, and I want to move. genuinely just want to move, leave, and never come back. Preferably, I want to stay in Europe, but I'll see. Like, I'm still in uni. I want to finish uni first, focus on that, and then I'll see what I'm going to do with my life. If I'm going to go somewhere or not. There is a slight glimmer of hope, and that is that there is supposed to be a new gun law that comes out, and it's supposed to be better and remove all the absurdities, or at least some of the absurdities of the old one. And it's supposed to come out by the end of this year. Now, obviously, with COVID and everything, that probably is going to be delayed a little bit. But regardless, it is supposed to come out soon-ish. So maybe they allow for, like, recreational sharpshooting to be a valid reason, which I don't see why it wouldn't be. So, like, I don't want to compete in tournaments. I just want to shoot at my local gun range. Here's my local gun range membership. That's a valid enough reason, I think. There you go. And then with, you know, all the other bullshit and paperwork and everything, maybe that'll be enough. Hopefully that'll be enough. I don't think so. I really doubt that something like that, something positive like that is going to happen. But maybe it does. Who knows? Who knows? So that's basically what I'm banking on. However, there is at least a little bit of consolation in that I can get a air gun. Now, as I've recently found out, this isn't really a thing in most places, which is kind of funny. Like, when you say air gun, especially in places like the Western Europe or the United States, people mostly think airsoft and, like, pellet, either, like, those small pellets or plastic BBs. Not really. See, I don't know how many of you know this, but air guns and air rifles are used for hunting in some parts of the world. It's illegal to hunt with air guns in my country, because why wouldn't it be? But they are used for hunting in some countries, and shockingly, you don't need a license for them here. You don't need anything. You just need a ID, and you need to be 16 years of age or older. Now, are they an effective tool of self-defense? Not really. Like not really. You can seriously injure someone with an air gun and with with the projectiles that it fires, which again are not the same in every country. I think that the reason air guns in general in this country are so well, they're not even commonplace, but the reason we have a variety of air guns and a lot of them extremely powerful is because of this gun law. So this is like one way of working around it. They're extremely realistic looking, and there's blowback air guns and all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah, those exist. Many of them exist, and a lot of them are very, very powerful. Especially the air rifles. Like, you can hunt small animals with those things. The size of the projectiles also varies. There's all sorts of things. So yeah, it's quite interesting. It's an interesting market. It's an interesting place when it comes to that. But yeah, that aside though, I was looking into getting one of those, and I probably will. Problem is, you can't order it via. You can't have it shipped. You need to go to the actual store and buy it, and there's none really near my town, so I need to go and get one, like, in probably like 100 kilometers or so away from my town, which isn't that far away, but yeah. And it's a mild inconvenience. Oh no. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna get, at least temporarily, just to quell this feeling of disappointment and emptiness, at least a tiny bit, that I have due to everything that's been happening. So yeah, there you go. That's me. That's what's been going on. I think I broke the game, oddly enough. Probably not. I'm probably gonna die eventually, but I think I've finished the level. I know the guy back there that we killed was the final boss of the level, and I think that means I've unlocked the next thing, and now it's just basically inevitable to... Basically just the inevitable demise, right? I might as well pick up another treasure, get some more coins, unlock some more things. It's not even that many. I think I'm receiving less and less the more I'm playing. Wow. This is pretty amazing, to be honest with you. This is pretty bloody amazing. Yeah, I think at this point, I'm fairly confident that there is no endgame boss or anything along those lines. You beat like the boss of the level at around level, like wars at like 100 something, 50 something, 40 something, I don't know. And then after that, that's it. They're now coming into my little circle. Oh man, this is absurd. I have so broken this game. Can we get to at least 2,000 gold before I perish? No, I don't think so. I'm getting like 25 per level. Hey, we actually did get to 2,000. Okay. Oh. Oh, it's stage completed. Ha! Okay, and you get bonus credits for it. Wow. Oh, coins. Wow, it does, like, Death himself comes in and takes you in the end. That's kind of funny. Wow. And that's 2 achievements. There's no achievement for beating the game? Ah, that's a shame. Wow. Okay, there you go. So, Unholy Vespers was 1.3k DPS. Rune Tracer 1.1. Magic Wand 84. Could have sworn Magic Wand was... I know, Holy Wand, there you go. Holy Wand 760. Yeah, alright. Cool. So, I beat the game. There you go. Awesome. That is genuinely awesome. I have 2 characters to unlock. I think I prefer to grab some stuff here. There you go, but that was my depressing story about gun ownership and my struggle to try and get a license, which I ultimately failed. So, yeah. Depressing as that may be, though, for me mostly, at least I did get the, at least I did get to the end game and beat the whole thing. So yeah, small consolation, I suppose. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe down if you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned with more of with more content that I produce and the rest of the series that are on the channel currently. If you want to see more Vampire Survivors, let me know. Definitely willing to record more. This is a incredibly fun game, and yeah, I'll see you all next time. Have fun. Take care. Bye bye.